the EPAWA headquarters in South Allentown, Pennsylvania, it's time for Weather Weeklies, an informative video of the ins and outs of weather that affect you most in the EPAWA coverage area. The following segment is a weekly video blog, and the opinions of the forecaster do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff of Eastern PA Weather Authority LLC as a whole, nor its constituents. Without further ado, here is meteorologist Bobby Martrus with Weather Weeklies.
Hey, good Sunday morning to you, everybody. I'm fighting a cold this morning, so please bear with me. I have a lot of things to talk about today. This is the Sunday, February 8th version of Weather Weeklies. This is a weekly editorial blog. This is just my opinions that I go through on a weekly basis here, and I relay them in this editorial format. So we're going to start off with the long range and go into it hasn't been updated because it hasn't been a need to update it yet. There's been no change to this that we were showing here when this was done at the end of January. So this has been pretty amazing what Mike DeFino has done here with this with the long range here. He's been pretty spot on with this with below average temperatures, a slight spike in the middle here. We have to watch this. I don't know if it's going to be really as warm as expected here. I might get into a little bit more colder next week, so this might change here too. But we did have pretty much below average this entire month as far as temperatures are concerned, and outlined two threats of snow events. Beginning of the month was the first one. Of course, that happened. Wasn't necessarily big. If we outline these snow threats, it don't necessarily mean they're going to be these huge storms. Also, around the the 4th to the 6th, we had another threat in there. And of course, that gave us, some parts of the area, some snow here with that, some ice and things of that nature. And we're dealing with another one here now that we're talking about here in the 9th to 11th time frame. Is actually going to be the 9th. This is the system that we're dealing with on Monday. That's going to give us some snow for some parts of the area here, but also some icing and significant icing. In others, we're getting more and more concerned about the icing here. Now, we were kind of like the first ones to lead the way here on the icing thing. Nobody's really talking about icing. Nobody was really making it to be a big deal. We did make it a big deal, and now you're seeing other things coming to line with that idea of the significant icing, including the National Weather Service, who has some advisories out now for pretty much the same ranges we have for that significant icing. You don't need much ice in order to cause a serious amount of problems. And if you're talking about a quarter-inch of ice, that's very dangerous. So first we're going to start off with the long-range pattern here, and we're going to get into this in this video here. Let me get rid of this. Get rid of the drawing tool here. Okay, we're going to get into the QBO here. This is bad news with the QBO again, and the QBO is the quasi-biennial oscillation. It is the zonal winds up at the stratosphere of the equator, and it actually drives our jet stream in the Pacific. So the lower the number is, you basically want this as a positive negative scale, both plus or minus 30 here. You want the the positive negative is just determining whether it's east or west based. Not a big deal here. But you see here's 2014's numbers here. Started off okay, and then we started going downhill, downhill, downhill. Now, it's been once it gets to a 20 or above, either plus 20 or minus 20, that means the Pacific jet's pretty fast. And here you see for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, now 6 straight months. January is the highest of all of them. This has to be a new record. I'm sure they keep records of this somewhere, but the QBO and the zonal winds to be this fast is really remarkable for that long of a time. So we're now at 26.70. What this means is the Pacific jet being too fast will allow for a progressive pattern. And what do we mean by that? Here's the look at example what progressiveness looks like. Progressiveness is a very fast, generally west to east flow. In this case, this is a cold progressiveness pattern shown on here, where you have nothing but northern stream systems here, little clippers coming through, giving you a quick inch or two, and that's it. Now, no big storms. Okay, that's what a progressive pattern does. If you want to see something with big storm potential, you need this ridge out here to be really high, and then you need a trough in the east, something like that, so you can have a storm that comes down here like this and rounds the curve and puts a big snowstorm right up here inside the benchmark or right over the benchmark, and you get a big snowstorm over our area. That's the idea. You can't have this ridge like this if the Pacific jet is just ripping it to shreds, and that's the case here, just ripping this apart. You see the ridge is trying to build here. Here's the ridge. It's trying to bridge, and then, oh, wow. And then the jet stream just rips it apart. And it doesn't allow this ridge to form, and that's pretty much what we've had all winter long with this progressive pattern, and that's largely due to the quasi-biennial oscillation, and that being so, the zonal winds being so fast allows the Pacific jet to just scream in from the west coast. Now you are getting the cold because instead of coming in, normally a QBO comes across like pretty much west-east. It's actually been coming in like this. So it's dipping down. It's giving us the cold air here over the northeast United States. Nowhere else. Upper Midwest to Great Lakes northeast are cold. So, but you're mostly cold and mostly dry because you're just getting these small northern stream systems coming rotating through here. Now, what can offset that is the Madden-Julian oscillation. I'm not sure what's going on with the MGO imagery here with the entire grid undefined here. This is actually a current look at the convection. This is a phase 7 signal. This means I'll show you what the phases are here in a minute. Here's, oops, oh boy, all over the place this morning. This is what happens when you do this on a laptop. Okay, you have the equators going like this. Here's North America. Here's where we are right here. Okay, here is your international date line. Okay, you see this convection sitting right here. This is a phase 7 signal. Almost phase 8. Once it gets to the date line, it's phase 8. What that does is, we've talked about this in previous videos as well, is throws heights at the ridge in the western United States. You can actually have, it'll actually promote a ridge happening and then a big trough in the east like this, okay, which will give us our storms. This helps with that. This helps offset that very fast jet stream and displaces it further north. That's what you want to happen. If you can get a big enough ridge here, you can have, you don't need a huge ridge here. You just need it to be a positive PNA, which is our Pacific North American oscillation. That is what controls the ridge out west. And the convection, as it propagates eastward, believe it or not, has a big influence on this ridge here out in the west and the trough in the east. So that's why the MGO is so important. And right now, as we go a little bit further in time here, we're going to go to, I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison. This is the one on the left is showing the statistical model's projection as of January 16th. Why is that important? Because we're about the same point right here, phase 7, and we're about the same point here right now, phase 7, okay? Look where the models had it going, into phase 8, phase 1, maybe even phase 2, or the circle of death. Same thing, phase 8, phase 1, maybe phase 2, or the circle of death. Same exact thing. So what that means is, this is where we're headed to, okay? And this means that, we can expect much of the same of what we had over the past couple weeks. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to have a lot of misses on these storms here. It does mean we had potential for big ones in there that didn't work out for our area for the most part, except for, maybe Northeast PA got into it pretty good, okay? Northern New Jersey got a few good ones. You're having a lot of Miller B systems, which are the ones that transfer, hit the coast and transfer to a secondary, and that's beneficial to New England. This is why Boston has gotten such big snow. You need this to happen earlier. And we have not had the good luck here in the last couple weeks for that to happen. It does not mean that it won't happen in this time frame here. It's the same setup, meaning there's still opportunity going forward here. So we'll still have the opportunity, for at least for the next couple of weeks, to have that. And when you're talking about these phases here, here's phase 7 right now. This is a cold phase. You can see all the cold air here. Okay. Same thing, phase 8, cold air. All right. Phase 1 is cold air. All right. Even phase 2, I know it's showing warmth over the upper Midwest here, but it's still not bad here for February. So these are all good phases. So the significance of those phases would indicate a ridge out west, trough in the east, and colder weather for us, which we could get into. All right, we're going to also, another thing that's going to help with that are the warm SSTs. These are the sea surface temperatures. This also promotes ridging out west. Just want to touch on that. Let's get into this storm that we're dealing with on Monday. Now, what you basically have going here is an area low pressure that's going to end up in southwestern Pennsylvania. Is going to head off like this, okay? Head off in this direction. Now, I know it's it is really warm up here in eastern Pennsylvania. People are like, there's not going to be much icing today. I don't know what they're talking about. They're probably overplaying this whole idea. Well, we're really not. And I'll tell you why. There's a high pressure. It's actually off of this map here. High pressure is situated up to the north here. It's a very strong high. So what this is doing, clockwise flow around it, is sending cold air in from the northeast here. These northeastern winds are going to drive this cold down here. It's going to drop this cold air in here. So by the time we get in here into early Monday morning, wee hours in the morning, it's already below freezing in this whole area here. And you got some serious significant freezing rain issues across east central PA, some snow up here in the far north here. Okay, and as you go a little bit further, it's going to drop. That boundary is going to drop southwestward, so you can have more icing issues all the way down to, at the very least, the north and west suburbs of Philadelphia, all the way down to Chester County, Lancaster, places like that. Okay, again, it doesn't take much icing to cause problems. Here is the icing projection off the GFS. Here is what we're looking at for the icing. This is accumulated icing amounts here. See how it gets all the way down to Philadelphia here? The NAM is doing something very similar. Look in the bullseye right here. Boom, right over to Lehigh Valley pretty much. A tremendous amount of icing. This is over a quarter-inch. This is a bad situation if this is the case. It goes all the way into central New Jersey. Okay, this area here is all 1/10 and a quarter of an inch that I'm outlining right here. This circled area is a quarter-inch or possibly higher. Okay, so we can get into that, and then it's going to change back to snow at the tail end here. So what we did here, here's the snow projections that we're doing after it goes from very initially light rain, and then northeast winds kind of filter down this way. Okay, northeast winds come down here and change this all over here. All right, starts with rain, then goes to freezing rain. These pink areas are going to be extended freezing rain, dangerous freezing rain here, and then freezing rain gets all the way down to southern areas here as well, but I don't think as much snow we're dealing with down here. It does change the snow at the end, but it might be a little bit too late. But you're going to have snow on top of ice is basically what we're dealing with. So this is our snow projection here. Still looks good this morning. Everything's looking good with that. Here's the icing projection. Again, look where we did this last night. The models are kind of coming along with our idea here. Here is the 1/10 to quarter-inch in this whole pink here. All right, in the center here is the greatest potential to receive a quarter-inch of ice, or perhaps even a little bit higher. The gray area is the area that we outlined for potential for icing that might be just minor. Really think it's going to stay north of Philadelphia, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. Some of the models are indicating differently. Okay, and then we get into the setup going forward. Everybody's talking about Thursday. I'm not sure why, but right now it doesn't look too good from our standpoint, but that doesn't mean it can't change. I can see where they're going with this. There's just basically a clipper system that's coming down here from the Great Lakes region, and it comes down and it hits the open waters here, and it kind of goes up here like this. All right, again, too late for our area, so you get light snow here across our coverage here. By the time it gets up here by Boston, they might get clipped here with some pretty good snow again. All right, and the reason we're going to keep an eye on it, here's the upper air patterns right now. This is what we're looking at for that time frame. And this, of course, is for this Thursday. Again, MJO is indicating a big ridge out here, big trough in the east. See that? And if you get a storm right there, if you can get this to dig a little bit more, you might get a big storm here along the coast. Right now, this is not digging. Okay? Right now, we're just talking about a clipper system with just very minor light snows, and that's it. Once it's the open water, it finally blows up from this point as it heads off in this direction. But that's too late for our area. So right now we're sticking with the lighter stuff on Thursday. We'll keep an eye on it. There'll be another shot. It's one of these very similar type things. Northern stream system coming in, hits the open water, redevelops. That will be for Sunday, Monday time frame of next week. So there's a couple different setups here going. It's going to take one of these just to dig a little bit. When I talk about dig, I'm talking about cutting across here. It's kind of digging down here like this. Give it time to develop and then come up the coast like this. That's what we need. Right now they're doing this. They come in here like this, come in here direct, hitting the water like this, and then exploding. Well, you can't. That's great for New England. And that's why this is like a so far New England winter because of that. You need these to dig. In order to have that dig, you're going to have the MGO cooperate. Okay? You're going to have this. You're going to have to go in at phase 8, phase 1. All right, you're going to have to go into, like I showed you with the convection. The convection here, international date line here. Okay, this convection needs to continue eastward. Throw heights to the western ridge. Western ridge gets pumped up. You get a big, deep trough in the east. QBO is very fast. We're going to have to offset it somehow. And that's the only way you're going to do it is if the Madden-Julian oscillation continues its progression into phase 8 and phase 1, because otherwise you're done with it. Otherwise you're left with this, just a progressive, fast northern stream here. No digging at all. Flat western ridge. You need this ridge to be really high like this. The higher the ridge is, the deeper your trough is, and the more it digs. Okay, so that by the time you get to here, by the end of the week, you're looking at more something like this. This is a great setup, but you need this ridge to be there. Models have been saying this ridge is going to be there for a while. Then it realizes, oh wow, the flows. By the way, here's your Pacific Jet. Here's going up and over top of the ridge, force over like that. Here's your ridge. That's your jet stream at this point, because this ridge is pumped up here out west, allowing the digging in the east, and that's what you need. So we'll look at this going forward here this upcoming week. Right now it looks like minor, but we'll keep on top of it. Of course, if you want to be on top of every storm that we have this winter and beyond, we have the My Pocket Meteorologist program. A lot of you have joined the premium group this week. We appreciate that. You can keep them coming in. We're discussing everything as far as all the details for every storm, maps, model analysis, everything in the My Pocket Meteorologist premium program. Click on this option here below the video, and you would have to select option number 3, which would give you the text alerts plus the premium group to get in here and get into the discussion. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich, and that is this edition of Weather Weeklies. Join us again next Sunday for another edition of Weather Weeklies, and we'll see you then. Take care.